Today we're going to be making some bright, colorful snowflake designs. I'll show you what you need to get started. You're going to need a sheet of paper from your watercolor paper pad. It's good to take it out from the pad, that way the rest of the paper doesn't get messy. You're going to need a pencil and some scissors and something round to trace. So I'm using this plate. You don't want it to be too big, you want it to fit on the paper. You're also going to need your watercolors and a little bit of water and your pastels. Okay, let's get started. So first I'm going to take my plate, and I don't want to put it in the middle. I want to put it somewhere in the corner. It makes it a little easier to cut it out, and then it gives me lots of extra leftover paper later. Okay, I've traced my circle, and now I'm going to cut it out. Remember, take your time when you're cutting out. Starting with a nice round shape really kind of sets you up to have a good project. So I'm cutting it carefully, big, slow snips. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to fold this circle so it has 6 segments. So I'm folding it in half like a taco. And then now I want to kind of pinch it in the middle here, and I'm going to fold it into thirds, so 3 kind of triangle shapes. So I'm pinching it in the middle, and I'm folding over one side halfway across. So take a good look at it. Make sure it's halfway before you crease it. You can always slide and adjust it. So now I'm going to take the other side and fold it across the other half. So now I should have, when I fold it all together, I should have kind of 3 equal sized triangles. So when I open it up, I should be able to see all 6 kind of pizza pie shapes on my circle. If you had a hard time folding that, feel free to pause the video and try again, but you can always just watch how I draw the first few lines on here. I'm going to be tracing the creases, and you can just, instead of doing the creases, you can just copy. So here I'm showing you some actual photographs of some snowflakes that I'm going to be looking at for my designing. But first I'm going to draw, I'm just going to trace over the creases so I can clearly see the 6 sides of my, snowflake. And if you weren't able to fold your snowflake using my folding method, then you can just copy the way I've drawn the lines here. I drew one line down the middle and then kind of like an X. Okay, so I'm going to look at some of these designs and notice what types of shapes I see in them. And if you want to go back, you can look closer at if you rewind the video and pause on the bigger picture, you can see some of these shapes, or you can copy what I'm doing, but you can really do your own thing. So I'm just doing a triangle shape in between each piece of the pie here. And I'm just drawing lines. I'm not going to color in right now. I'm going to do my coloring in later with watercolor paint. So now I'm noticing a lot of these snowflakes have kind of like branches coming off. So I'm going to do this Y shape coming off of these lines. You can use any colors you want. They don't have to be actual snowflake colors. I'm using green right now and blue. And of course, snowflakes, they look white, but they actually if you look at them very close up, they're ice, so they don't really have any color. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. You just want to remember whatever you do in one piece of your snowflake, you need to do all the way around. So you need to do each shape or line 6 times. So your snowflake is symmetrical all the way in a circle. Okay, when you're done with your design, you're going to get your watercolors out and your brush. I'm having a little hard time getting this brush out. If you have more than one brush, then you should decide which brush would be the best size to fill in these shapes. So I'm waking up my paints a little bit here, and I'm going to fill in each spot of this shape with the same color so it stays symmetrical. Because I'm using colors that aren't really snowflake colors and these snowflakes are looking really bright, they're looking more like a kaleidoscope than a snowflake. So you can get really fancy and colorful with your color choices. Sometimes my paint is a little too dark, so I just, instead of adding more paint, I just add a little water when I'm filling it in. Okay, so I'm washing off my brush before I switch colors, adding a little more water to wake up the paint. Okay, and I'm going to speed up the video here so you can see me paint in super fast motion. Okay, I'm just finishing up my snowflake now. I went back and made some areas a little darker that seemed a little light, and I'm overlapping some colors in some areas. So on one side here, I'm making the green a little bit brighter by adding yellow. And on the other side next to it, I added a little blue to make it a little more turquoise. I'm filling in the blue a little bit more. So you can always go back and make adjustments. All right, so that's my finished snowflake. I hope you enjoyed this. Can't wait to see what you come up with.